Welcome to Uncommon Roots Homestead. Jeannie, Daisy, say hi. Today I'm joined by special guests, our dairy cows, Jeannie and Daisy is our calf. And today we are going to talk about fear in farming. A lot of people would say that there's no place for fear on a farm. I would beg to differ, and I want to tell you why we think that. So, as you can see, I've got Daisy behind me. She's on her halter. We're currently going through the process of halter training her, so that way we can walk her around, easily catch her, and get her contained into her stall for one. And then once she is actually producing milk, then we will have to tie her up. So our full-grown cow, Jeannie, she's a great milk cow. She's halter trained. You can walk her like a dog. It's awesome. So we want to try and get Daisy as comfortable as possible with the halter. So that's why she's kind of hanging out with the halter on right now. Chewing some hay. So we're going to be hanging out with them a little bit today. Primarily I'm talking to you from the cow pasture because the biggest news on our farm is that we have a bull joining our farm. His name is Crusher. He's a few years old. He's not a playa, he just crush a lot. But he will be joining us so we can actually breed back Jeannie this year, and then Daisy once she's old enough next year. So we've got plans for these two to both be dairy cows, and you can't actually have a dairy cow unless the cow has a baby. So for those who didn't know, honestly, there's been more people are surprised by that than I realize, that cows can't produce milk without a baby. But just like humans, you don't produce milk all the time, only after you give birth, so you can feed your baby. Same thing with cows. They don't produce milk all the time. So Jeannie and Daisy will be our family milk cows. Daisy, we decided to keep as a family milk cow because Jeannie, who is currently munching right next to the microphone, she's only got 3 good quarters. So 3 of her teats are working and 1 of them is non-functional. So we're only getting like 3/4 of a gallon of milk from her regularly, which isn't bad for us. It works out just fine. But we could get a little more, we think, if that 4th quarter was producing. So we decided to breed back Daisy as well, so that way, you know, she could potentially be a higher producing dairy cow for us. So that's the goal. You know, once again, all this in the hopes to become more sustainable as a family. So that's the goal. Now Crusher's job is to naturally impregnate Jeannie, so that way she can give birth to a calf, you know, after 9-10 months. So that's why he's being brought in. We're actually doing like a rent to own type deal with Crusher. He's going to be joining us for at least 3 months, and then if things are working out and he's a good cow, he'll either stay here or he'll go to my wife's parents. They have enough room to have a bull on their property. So the goal is to either have him here or to keep him on his parents' on Ashley's parents' property. You know, in that way we can breed them back, you know, every year. So we'll do a video where we actually go through, you know, the options that you have when deciding how to breed back your dairy cow. Our cow content is not typically as popular, but this is a documenting of our life, and these cows are a big part of our life. So naturally, you're going to see it, whether you like it or not. So Daisy and Jeannie, they're just a part of our life. And, you know, if their videos aren't as popular, that's okay. It's just what we desire to do. It's part of our life, so naturally we're sharing our life with you and our experience on a farm with you, so hopefully it helps you out. So fear in farming, why do I want to talk about that? It doesn't seem like this is a very fear-inducing place. I'm sitting here with an adorable calf who is very much contained on this halter. So why fear in farming? Well, as I mentioned, the bull is coming to our property this Sunday. This is a new experience for us. With every new experience, there is definitely a certain amount of fear. It happened when we bought 2 chickens. It happened when we decided to put a 4 by 8 foot garden bed on our first house. Like, the smallest things have just an opportunity to induce a little bit of fear or anxiety due to the fact that it's most likely new and we don't know what to expect. So there's a lot of fear of the unknown. With the bull, there's the fear of, for one, we are taking care of a large animal, which, in all honesty, probably won't be aggressive based on everything we've heard about him, knowing the breed. He is also a Dexter, a purebred Dexter like we are currently raising with Daisy and Jeannie, who have great temperaments. We know the breeders who initially bred him, or the kind of the lineage he came from. We know the person who is selling him to us has testified that he is a great cow, and if anything, he's a little antisocial, but isn't aggressive. Yet there's still part of me, and probably Ashley too, that would say that, yeah, we're a little bit scared. This is unexpected. This is new territory. And part of the reason we're sharing all of this with you all, is that our channel, we desire to encourage people that these choices that we're making to become more sustainable, even the small ones, they're realistic and you can do it. Like, if you want to start a full-out farm, you can do it. You don't need to be an expert right away. Ashley and myself, every single thing we've done on this farm to this point has been new to us. Daisy is brand new to us. Jeannie was brand new to us. We didn't know what to expect when we got into it. We did a lot of research, of course, and that helps quell some of the fears. But it's not gonna, cause all the fear to go away until you start doing, the actual work and the actual accomplishing the actual goals that you want to accomplish. You're never going to be fully comfortable. So we are bringing this bull onto our property with a little bit of fear and anxiety. I don't think this is a bad thing. Healthy fear of certainly animals who are wild for all intents and purposes. You should have a respect for them, whether it's small animals, whether it's large livestock. You should respect them. You should treat them with, the proper care, attention, but also give them the space that they need too. As you raise animals, you'll pick up on signs that will kind of indicate to you that either they are comfortable with something or they're not. So those kind of things you learn as you go. No one jumps into them as an expert. People have to learn things somehow. So those are the kind of things you pick up on. So what is fear? So fear, as classically defined, is anxiety that is caused by the unknown outcome of something or the fear of potential harm. So in our case, the fear of the outcome or the anxiety that's induced is induced because we don't know what's going to happen with this bull. Is he going to be aggressive? Is he going to be, is it going to be tough to protect our other cows from him? Like I said, these things are probably a little bit, invalid because we know a lot about this cow before bringing him on. which I think is part of the due diligence you need to do before bringing any animal onto your property. But we've never done this before. So there's that anxiety of the outcome, of the unknown, that causes us to be a little bit panicky. And like I said, I don't think that's an unhealthy thing. It's just part of it. Part of, doing anything new is, having some anxiety about the unknown. Jeannie, it's all about us today. She's just hanging out right here. She must know I'm talking about fear. She's trying to comfort me. What a sweetheart. But anyway, fear is the anxiety of the unknown, or the outcomes that could come from something new. Oh, she's trying to get the food. Get out of there, you. Get out of there. So why do we fear? Well, fear is technically a survival mechanism. So the reason you have fear, it's a feeling that you get, or an emotion or a thought that you get that alerts you to some potential danger or harm. So fear is a very natural thing, and is technically part of your body's reaction to trying to survive. Humans fear, animals fear. That's an emotion that we share with the animals we bring on the farm. So it's part of the reason why you want to make sure all your animals are comfortable and that you're comfortable with them. So we determined what fear is, why we fear, but I want to talk to you a little bit about some ways to overcome that fear when it comes to farming too, because that's a large part of what we have to do in this scenario that I discussed with you already. Is we have to figure out how to just make ourselves as comfortable and as ready as possible before the animal comes. So for us, part of the way that we overcome fear, or at least try to dispel some of it, like I said, there's always going to be a little bit of fear. A little bit of that fear is healthy, especially when dealing with large livestock. There's an amount of respect that you need for each and every animal, but especially ones that are bigger than you. So there's always going to be a little bit, but there's ways to kind of overcome some of the fear. For us, part of that is preparation. So what I'm doing today is I'm actually, as you can see behind me, there's some barbed wire. I'm fortifying, dog's barking, sorry. He thinks the cows are coming for his food. So there's a lot of noise going on around here today. They're building our house right now. That's pretty noisy. Dog's noisy. There's a lot going on here. So I'm sorry if you can hear that in the background. But anyway, preparation is one way we overcome fear. So I'm taking that barbed wire. Any areas that I have field fence and I don't have barbed wire right now, I'm fortifying with a strand of barbed wire through the middle and over the top to try and just fortify those fences as much as I can without spending ridiculous amounts of money. So that's part of what I'm doing today. And then, other ways we're preparing is also doing, like I said, the due diligence and the research on certainly the breed, which we feel very comfortable with having Dexter cattle already. So that's part of our process of preparation, is just doing the research to understand the breeds that we're bringing in. Ashley's probably told you before that something we're passionate about is bringing on heritage breeds of most animals to our farm. In the beginning, there were some chickens that we had that weren't quite, they were more production based animals, but since then we've really tried to do more heritage breeds on our farm. So we researched a lot of the heritage breeds. We picked the cows that were best for us. So a lot of that's already been done, that preparation, because we already had to prepare for bringing on Dexter cattle in general to the farm. We've done research on understanding, behavior of bulls, especially when, the female cows or the potential dairy cows are in heat. Things can get a little more wild in here. So just understanding the behaviors that they'll display at that time, is one way we'll prepare. we're still going to have to see it firsthand and still have to understand what that looks like and what that process is for them. But at least having a base knowledge of it, or even an extensive knowledge of it, is important. So we've done the research there. Understanding the lineage of your animal. So as I told you, we've already kind of checked it out, did a bit of a background check. It's like hiring a new babysitter or a nanny for your kids. Like you want to do a background check and all that. So these cows that we have are our babies. We want to make sure that they're cared for, that they're going to be safe. So part of that is checking into the background of this bull that we're bringing on, Crusher, which, you know, not a great name to start with. But just understanding his temperament, talking to any of the people who have owned him. Thankfully, we had a connection to the cows that were the parents of Crusher. So we were able to understand their temperament. We were able to understand the temperament of Crusher himself by talking to the actual, you know, farmer who's had him for the last few years. So that's part of the preparation that we have. So we prepare our space, we prepare our minds, and then we also have to prepare just with, you know, kind of the increase in, you know, food that we'll need. So we'll need more food to feed, you know, him. So we're going to be increasing the amount of hay that we'll need on hand and grain. Primarily our cows are grass fed, but we do feed Jeannie grain and hay every day, just so she can keep up, you know, her weight and things like that as she prepares to, you know, get pregnant. So, knowing he'll probably need some of that too is what we'll have to do, is get some extra bags of feed, get some extra hay out here. So all that's part of our preparation. Another way that we quell fear through preparation is just to have kind of plans for safety. With any large animal, I recommend that you have some guidelines that you follow with regard to safety. So we have a small family. It's myself, my wife, our son who is just starting to walk, and then our daughter who's 3, who can walk and is all over the place. So just understanding, you know, what we need to do to make sure that we are all safe, and having a plan for interaction with our cattle is something that's important. So one example of that would be that we never let our kids in here without us. We don't let them go off, you know, into the pasture with just the cows. That's not something that we'll do. It's not something we'll change when we get a bull either. Quite the opposite. We'll probably increase the amount of kind of, you know, just safety measures we have. So instead of the kids, you know, just having to be in here with us, they'll actually just have to be by our sides the entire time once that bull is here. So having a plan ahead of time is important. Other things that we do for safety, we don't walk behind the cows. You take a wide turn around the cows just because they can't kick. Ours are pretty docile, so we haven't had that experience, but we are bringing a new cow that we don't know onto the property. So getting back into the habit of just taking wide turns around the back of a cow is important. Going through the front. Cool thing about cows is that they can't bite. They don't have top teeth. So going to the front of a cow is probably safer than the back. Now, they do lower their heads and they do charge, but usually there's signals that you can look for if they're about to do that. They'll lower the head. A lot of times they'll kick dirt behind them. So if you've seen in movies or cartoons where cows are actually kicking up dirt with their feet, they actually do that. So that's kind of a way that they, you know, have some intimidation. So they provide intimidation through that, letting you know, hey, I'm going to come at you if you're not getting away. So there's signs to look for. Like I said, there's ways that you become more comfortable as it happens. So other safety measures that we take, once again, fortifying our fences. The way we protect our calf is that she will be, you know, penned up at night. She typically is anyway, because we are separating her from Jeannie in order to get extra milk. So so keeping her penned up. The reason that Crusher will only be here for 3 months is also a safety measure. So bulls can actually harm calves as they come of age for breeding. They're small, and their bodies just aren't totally prepared for the potential impact of a bull. It's a little bit graphic trying to impregnate them. So the reason that Crusher will only be here for 3 months is because Daisy will be at an age after 3 months where we'll probably have to protect her a little bit from him. So that's why he's only going to be on the farm for 3 months. After 3 months, he'll either be in a separate pasture or, like I said, he'll be at Ashley's parents' house. That's another way that we plan for safety. So I hope the tone of this video hasn't been too discouraging. I don't want to come off as oh, you should be scared of everything and you should never get into a farm because things are scary. That's not the case. I hope it's quite the opposite, that you're encouraged. That if an idiot like myself who knows nothing about farming can get into this and at least be somewhat successful at doing it, if I can do it, chances are you can do it too. So I hope you're encouraged, but I also hope that you're encouraged by the fact that your fear is natural. It's something that we all have, it's something that animals have, and it's something that is important for survival and growth. So don't try to just push down your fear. Embrace it, understand it, and then come up with ways to be as prepared as possible for any potential scenario. I've told you how that looks for us, so I hope you're encouraged by that. And I hope you can take some of this and incorporate into your farm or your home as you're doing your garden or taking care of your kids or any part of life. I hope you can take some of those lessons and carry them with you. There is a wise man, a philosopher, I would say, by the name of Ned Stark, who once said that without fear, a man has no opportunity to be brave. So, fear is natural, and you cannot do great things without some amount of fear. So be encouraged by that. We will keep you updated on how things go with the bull, how he interacts with our calf and our cow. We'll keep you up to date on all that. Keep on the lookout for another video where we talk about how we chose to go with a bull on our property and some of the factors that went into that decision. There's a few ways you can breed back a cow, so we want to walk you guys through that if that's something that you desire to do for yourselves. We can kind of tell you how our experience went and give you an idea of that. But hopefully you learned a little something today. I hope that this was encouraging to you and wasn't fear-inducing. Oftentimes looking at me in a camera and hearing my monotone voice induces fear in and of itself. So I appreciate you sticking with me today. Please subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, follow us on Instagram at Uncommon Roots Homestead, and keep in touch with us. We read the comments. We try to respond as much as we can. So hopefully this helps. If you want more content like this, let us know. If you, once again, don't ever want to see me again, let us know. We appreciate you all. You always have a space on our farm. Thank you.